IRS chief faces questions over audits of Trump foes. Biden administration officials had already begun interviewing potential replacements. So they're trying to get rid of this Rettig. Why? He's not their guy. Not that he's a trumpeter. I don't think he's ever been accused of being a trumpeter. He was appointed by Trump, but that doesn't make him a Trump guy. But he's not Biden's guy, and Biden wants his guy in there, and that's his prerogative. But they also don't want to make it look political, and so it'd be easier just to push him out because of a scandal. And also Comey and McCabe are trying to save their own face about how and their own problems. The commissioner of the Internal Revenue Services faces a new onslaught of questions after a report Wednesday from the New York Times showed that 2 foes of President Donald Trump have been selected for a rare audit. Rettig, whose elevation by Trump to lead the service in 2018 surprised many tax professionals when it was announced, faced new scrutiny after the New York Times revealed that both former FBI Director James Comey and his deputy Andrew McCabe were the subjects of highly unusual audits for which the IRS says were selected at random. The Washington Post has confirmed the audits. Rettig was a tax attorney in Beverly Hills when Trump put him in the charge of the agency, which employs about 71,000 full-time staffers. He had defended a billionaire the IRS accused of hiding money in offshore accounts. A venture capitalist the agency alleged used sham accounting to shelter assets, and the heirs of a millionaire defense contractor who sought to fend off inheritance taxes. He started out as a Trump ally when his 4-year term began in 2018, shielding the former president's tax returns from public view in the face of the House Democratic lawsuit. He didn't shield him. It's illegal to look at individuals' tax returns. You can't just say, go ahead and get. That's not shielding Trump. There's laws against that, except for ProPublica did that. And nobody seems to care about that. We're not doing an investigation into that, it appears. But Rettig has proved a willing partner for the Biden administration as well, supporting its efforts to close the gap between what taxpayers owe and what they pay in implementing expansive new stimulus measures, the tax gap, as we talk a lot about on this show. The IRS commissioner's term is to expire in November, and Biden administration officials had already begun interviewing potential candidates for his replacements before this week's news, according to 2 people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe private conversations. Rettig has expressed openness to a second term, said one other person familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity for the same reason. Asked Thursday if the president is confident in Rettig's leadership, White House spokesman Jean-Pierre repeatedly refused to answer, telling reporters at her briefing he is going to be up for in November, so I will leave it at that. Jean-Pierre said of the White House otherwise did not comment on enforcement actions taken by the IRS. Still, the revelation about Comey and McCabe's audits will revive difficult questions for the commissioner and his legacy. Rettig had won praise from Democratic lawmakers under Biden for his outreach and responsiveness to Capitol Hill, but his deference to Trump has come under scrutiny, given the nonpartisan role the IRS is supposed to play. The revelation will also bring new scrutiny to former Trump Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, since Treasury oversees the IRS. A spokesman for Mnuchin told the Post in a statement that it is unlawful for the Secretary of Treasury to request, directly or indirectly, any officer or employee of the Internal Revenue Service to conduct or terminate an audit or other investigation of any particular taxpayer with respect to the tax liability of such taxpayer, with limited exceptions that do not apply. In a statement, Trump said, "I have no knowledge of this," and pointed to 2019 Justice Department watchdog report that was critical of Comey and McCabe's earlier investigation. The IRS has been adamant that there is no political interference in its audit process. Comey and McCabe were selected for the National Research Program, which typically selects about 13,000 people and corporations a year out of hundreds of millions of tax returns for the intensive audit program. McCabe's audit was launched months into the Biden administration, although still under Rettig's tenure. It focused on his 2019 tax return. His 2019 tax return was due in 2020. That's when the election was. And it wasn't until 2021 that he was picked for the audit. And again, Trump wasn't the president then. The audit program is run by the IRS's Research, Applied Analytics, and Statistics Division. A group of career employees, statisticians, and data scientists run a computer program that randomly selects taxpayers across the income spectrum to determine compliance levels with the nation's tax codes, according to John Koskinen, who served as the IRS commissioner under Obama administration and at the beginning of the Trump administration. Once the names are chosen in the random lottery, they are forwarded to the IRS division that handles audits, according to Koskinen. IRS spokesman Jody Reynolds said the statement that Rettig personally referred the matter to the Inspector General for review after details of the Times reporting emerged. She also called it ludicrous and untrue to suggest that senior IRS officials somehow targeted specific individuals for National Research Program audits, while adding the IRS was prohibited from commenting on specific taxpayer situations. Commissioner Rettig is not involved in individual audits or taxpayer cases. Those are handled by career civil servants. As IRS Commissioner, he has never been in contact with the White House in either administration on IRS enforcement or individual taxpayer matters. He has been committed to running the IRS in an impartial, unbiased manner from the top to bottom. Former IRS officials expressed disbelief that there could have been any political meddling in the audit program, since there are federal criminal penalties for interference. There is no way that Rettig to have ordered or performed the audit without a supportive career staff, said Mark Everson, who served as commissioner of the service under George W. Bush. I would be stunned if there were any intentional selection of either McCabe or Comey for audit under this program. That would be truly shocking. I don't see that, Everson said. Everson added that even if it's randomly selected, Comey should have been excluded from the audit because of his high-profile political status. Somebody should have exercised more judgment before proceeding with the Comey audit. I would have hoped that that would be the case. Even if randomly selected, I think a supervisor should have said, we can just knock this one out. Still, former IRS officials, including Everson, said the matter should be investigated. The Treasury Inspector General did not immediately respond to the request for comment or whether the office had opened an investigation into the selection of audits. For two guys who are enemies of President Trump to be selected together, although in different years, would have been viewed as unusual, Koskinen said. In light of everything else going on in the last few years, it's worth taking a look to reassure the public that the IRS is treating all taxpayers fairly. They don't treat all taxpayers fairly. Some House Democrats have started demanding Rettig's dismissal over the matter. If you think the audit of Donald Trump's purported enemies was a random act of God, then I have a bridge in New Jersey I'd like to sell you, said Parcell, a Democrat from New Jersey, a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. There may be no group on the face of this earth that deserves the benefit of the doubt less than Donald Trump and his government enablers. Charles Rettig has wrecked the public trust in the IRS, and I reiterate my calls for President Biden to fire Mr. Rettig immediately. There you have it. I wanted to do one more, though. This is the IRS, the New York Times story. This is I have it in the description about this national research program and what the IRS says about it and how it all works. So there's a link in the description there. And then there's this about this ProPublica. This is the ProPublica story. The secret IRS files trove over never before seen records reveal how the wealthiest avoid income taxes. This is the story that revealed thousands of our highest income earners in America and their personal tax returns for many years. Whereas this was more than a year ago. We have not heard of any follow-up. We can't comment on any investigation. Can you comment if there is one? No, we can't comment if there even is one. Nothing's come out of it. Nobody knows anything about it. Nobody says anything about it. There hasn't been any word of anybody being suspected or investigated, much like the Supreme Court leak. Have you heard anything about the Supreme Court leaker? Nah, they can't find him. Just like this one. Well, they leaked thousands of documents, personal documents, criminally protected by the IRS and statute, and we can't find 1 ounce of an investigation into this. Who are they going after? It shouldn't take long, and like the Supreme Court, shouldn't take long to figure out who did it. Same thing with the IRS. That shouldn't take a year or longer to investigate. We should know who that is, but we don't. Will we? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like we'll ever get to the bottom of that. That's something that just will go away one day. And whatever happened to that? Oh, I don't know. We never got to the bottom of that, did we? Oh, there's probably nothing there anyway. Anyway, that's where we are. So thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time. I think it was an interesting story today. Always IRS problems, IRS problems, IRS problems. That's what we handle here, right? Because tax problems are really at the core of all news, right? How do they get the money? How are they going to spend it? And then what are politicians using to go after their enemies? So it's an interesting case. Remember, we need your help to like and subscribe. We want you to like and subscribe. We need